Hi folks, HR Funk here. Out on the range for my second installment in my evaluation of the Military Armament Corporation MAC 1014 shotgun. And I need to make a correction to something I kept saying over and over. In the last video, I kept referring to the company as the Military Arms Corporation. It is the Military Armament Corporation, and these shotguns are imported by SDS Imports. I want to say thanks to Jared from SDS for supplying this shotgun to me. And this shotgun is on a long-term loan, so I'm going to be doing quite a bit of testing with this in the coming months. And since winter's right around the corner, we should be able to get into some adverse conditions testing pretty soon. But today, I'm out on the range just to see how the shotgun is going to function on a nice sunny fall day. Now, something that was mentioned in the owner's manual, and I have to mention something else about the owner's manual in a moment, but something that was mentioned in the owner's manual is it's recommended that these shotguns have a 100-round break-in before you start trying to shoot them with some lower-powered shotgun ammunition. So I've got several different varieties of 12-gauge ammunition with me out here on the range today. I'm going to start out with some full-power 12-gauge double-aught buck loads. I've got 50 rounds of that. They are Remington double-aught buck. Then I've got some other double-aught buckshot. I've got some number 4 shot. I've got some stuff that if this shotgun runs it, I'll be kind of surprised. But I'm just going to be testing its functioning, and I will be getting through that 100-round break-in period during the course of this video. Now, something I've been trying to figure out for the last day or two is how I wanted to record this video. By the way, there's Chewy making a cameo appearance. But I've been trying to figure out how I want to record this, because if I just stand here and shoot 100 rounds in this video, it's going to be very boring to watch. And I thought maybe I could do a time lapse so everything was speeded up and I could shoot the 100 rounds, but I think that's still going to be boring. It's just going to be boring faster. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with that Remington double-aught buck that I told you I had. And as I said, I have 50 rounds of that ammunition, and I'm going to run 2 or 3 or maybe 4 magazines through the shotgun on camera with that ammunition. And as long as it's running well, I'm going to stop the video and run the rest of that Remington double-aught buck. Then when I start to use some of these other types of ammunition, I'm going to start the video back up again. I'll tell you how many rounds I have through at that point, and I'll tell you what type of ammunition that I'm using. When I get all the way to the end of the 100-round break-in period, then I'm going to start into some of this other ammunition that I have, and we'll see how it runs, and of course the camera's running for that. So now I'm going to get loaded up and get ready to go for my first magazine through this shotgun. It's not been fired yet, and I am looking forward to seeing how it does. So here we go. And I'm loaded up and ready to go, folks. I'm set up at a distance of 10 yards from the target. I have 1 round in the chamber of the MAC 1014 and 5 rounds in the magazine. So we're about to see how it runs with that Remington double-aught buck ammunition. But I wanted to mention something that I touched on earlier in the video, that being the owner's manual for the MAC 1014. Now, if you saw the first installment of this evaluation, you know that I talked about the owner's manual and I said there was some information lacking, actually quite a bit of information lacking. If you didn't see part 1, go back and watch it and you'll see what I'm talking about. But I talked to Jared from SDS Imports, and it turns out there was an issue with the printer who was printing the owner's manual, and somehow some pages were not included that were supposed to be in there. So that will be corrected moving forward, and all of the shotguns coming out will have the proper owner's manual with them. I would say for now, if you have one of these shotguns and you need the rest of the owner's manual, contact SDS Imports, and they should be able to tell you how to go about getting one. So now on with the test. And there is a malfunction on the second shot, and I'm not sure if we had a failure to eject. Looks like that was a failure to chamber. So I'll load that shell back in there, and we'll see what happens this time around. For some reason, that shell does not want to chamber. That one went in well enough, so maybe there's an issue with that shell. See how the rest of them do. Everything else fed okay. I can't see any. I do see something wrong with this shell. Looks like there is a bulge right there at the front. So I don't think we can blame that malfunction on the shotgun. Looks like that's an ammunition issue. Let me load it back up and we'll see what happens with another full magazine and a round in the chamber. And I'm loaded up and ready to go again. And I tried to watch these shells as I put them into the magazine and into the chamber. I didn't see any deformities as I was loading them up. So let's see how they run. I'd say they ran pretty well. And here we go with 6 more. And apparently I only loaded 5 that time, but they all ran just fine. That's what happens when Marines try to count, folks. Every once in a while you don't get quite the right number. Let me load it up again and we'll try one more full magazine. This time we'll try to get the count right. And here we go again. And no problem that time. So I think that's 3 magazines through without any malfunctions. The only malfunction we've had has been a result of a deformed shell. So I'm going to stop the video now. I'm going to run through the rest of this Remington ammunition. If I have a problem, I'll start the cameras back up and tell you what the problem is. But otherwise, if I don't have a problem, the next time you see me is going to be when I'm switching to a different type of ammunition, and we'll see how it runs. So I'm taking a quick break here, folks, just to rest my shoulder a little bit. And I thought while I was doing that, I would take a look at the pattern we're getting with that Remington double-aught buckshot from a distance of 10 yards. And I would say that's all pretty good. Everything is staying pretty well centered in the torso of our bad guy here. And I'm not taking a great deal of time to line these up and fire off precise shots. I'm just basically coming up, superimposing that front sight there and squeezing the trigger, and they're staying right there where they should. Now the general rule of thumb for buckshot is it should open, for double-aught buckshot that is, should open about 1 inch for every yard that you are distant from the target. So from 10 yards I should be getting about 10-inch patterns, and obviously this is the result of about 23 or 24 rounds, something like that. When I put a clean target up, I'll take a look at that patterning and just see what it looks like. And I do have the improved cylinder choke installed in the MAC 1014 at the moment, and that's probably what I'm just going to leave in there. But I just wanted to take a quick look at that before we go on. This is the last full magazine with a round in the chamber that I'm going to run with the Remington buckshot. I have 1 round of ammunition left in the box. Since I'm loading them 6 at a time, this is the 4th time through, so I've shot 24 rounds out of the 25 round box. So when I finish this full magazine plus the one in the chamber, I'll have 49 rounds through the shotgun. And since I'm not going to be able to do another full magazine, I wanted to record this last one. And I think I'll use that last round to check that patterning that I was talking about before. So here we go. And no problem. So that's 49 rounds with only 1 malfunction, and the malfunction was due to a faulty round of ammunition. Now I'm going to change targets, grab that one last round of ammunition, and we'll see what the pattern looks like on a clean target. And here we go with the last round of ammunition, folks. And as I said, from this distance of 10 yards, I should get about a 10-inch pattern. Let's see. That's 10 inches or better. Let's go up and take a closer look. So yes, I don't think I need to measure that at all. That's 10 inches or better, right dead center in the target. Can't ask for much better shotgun performance than that. And I think our bad guy here is probably done with his evil ways. Now that's all 50 rounds of the Remington double-aught buckshot that I brought with me out here. So I'm going to switch to a different type of ammunition and we'll see how it runs. So next up is going to be 6 rounds of Federal double-aught buckshot. And I've got 1 round in the chamber and 4 rounds in the magazine already. That makes 5. Let's see how the Federal ammo runs. And just for fun, let's take a look at the pattern with the Federal double-aught buck. And let's go down range and take a look. So no problems with that Federal ammunition. Looks like the pattern is maybe a little lower than I was getting with the Remington, although I came up here and fired this headshot, and that looks like it's pretty much right on point of aim. So maybe I was just pulling these shots a little bit low. That's still just about 10 inches, maybe a little bit less than 10 inches from that distance of 10 yards. Again, I think our bad guy is done with all of his evil ways, and that is just a demonstration that so many people think a shotgun pattern opens up drastically at any kind of a distance. You can actually take a headshot from distances out to about 10 yards, and so long as it's a good shot, be reasonably certain you're going to hit the head. Obviously, at closer distances, you can take that headshot and have an even smaller and smaller pattern, so you can make a pretty precise shot with double-aught buck. So I've got 5 more rounds of the federal double-aught buckshot, and then I've got some U.S. government double-aught buckshot. So I'm going to load both of these up. I'll run the federal first, and then I'll run the USGI. And as I said, 5 rounds of the USGI double-aught buckshot. This is loaded by Winchester, and I've got 5 rounds ready to go. Let's see how it runs. No problem whatsoever. So next up is going to be the first non-double-aught buckshot load that I've run. This is S&B number 4 shot. I've got 6 rounds loaded, so let's see how it runs. By the way, this is pretty stout ammo for number 4 shot. Almost forgot to fire the 6th one. And that ran just fine. So next up is going to be the first test with ammunition that I really would not be surprised if the MAC 1014 chokes on. The first is 3 rounds of some ancient Remington double-aught buck ammunition. This is something that came in a box of stuff that I got from a gun show or someplace, and I had a few rounds of this stuff in there. I have no idea how old it is. I have no idea how it's going to run. All I know is it's Remington double-aught buckshot from some period in the past. The next 3 rounds are going to be 3 rounds of Remington reduced recoil double-aught buckshot. So I'm curious how the shotgun is going to run with this stuff. It's going to produce less gas and less recoil. So let's see what happens. Again, first 3 are going to be the old Remington double-aught bucks. The second 3 are going to be the Remington double-aught reduced recoil. So here goes nothing. And there is a dent in the primer, and this shell just did not go. Let's see what happens on shell number 2 of this old stuff. That fired, but I don't think it cycled. Nope. All right, I'm gonna fire out the last round just to get rid of this stuff. And that one's not going to fire either. Again, I have no idea how this stuff was stored, how old it is, or anything else. I'm going to give it a little bit here to make sure I don't have a hang fire. And then I'm just going to get rid of this stuff. And by the way, folks, I am not counting those last 3 shells as malfunctions for the shotgun because that was just bad ammo. Next up is going to be the Remington reduced recoil. And we'll see how it does. At this point, I've got about 75 rounds through the shotgun. So we're well into the break-in period. And cycled them with no problem. It was not kicking the shells out with the same authority that the full-power double-aught buck was, but it definitely ran those reduced recoil loads. Next up is another federal load. This is a number 4 buckshot load, but as you can see, it's a low brass load. So it is a lower pressure, and I'll be interested to see just how the MAC 1014 likes this stuff. Stuff seemed pretty stout for a low brass load. I've got 19 more of those that I'm going to run through to finish the break-in period. Then I'll try some different ammo. And again, I'm just going to stop the camera now and run the additional Federal number 4 loads through here. And if I have a problem, I'll start the camera up and tell you about the problem. Otherwise, the next time I fire things up, I'll be trying a different type of ammunition. And this is going to be the last full magazine plus one of that Federal low brass number 4 shot, but it has been running perfectly. I don't expect it's going to be any different this time through. And no, absolutely perfect functioning with that low brass number 4 shot. By the way, folks, for anybody who's curious, this is Federal number 4 shot, 1 1/8 ounce, rated at 1,255 feet per second. So those are the stats. Here is the last round. And by the way, with this last round, that completes the first 100 rounds through this shotgun. And the only failures that I have had have clearly been ammunition related. And that round of Remington ammunition that didn't feed, I think it was the second shot of the video, I did manage to eventually stuff that into the chamber. And once I got it in there, it fired, extracted, ejected, and the next round fed fine. So there was just a deformity with that particular round. But other than that, and that really old stuff that just wouldn't fire and wouldn't cycle the action, there has not been an issue whatsoever. So let's take a look at this Federal load. All right. Next up are some Federal 1 ounce slugs, and I've got my Mad Bomber target set up downrange. So we're going to see from a distance of 10 yards if the slugs are accurate enough to stop him from detonating. Looks like I pulled that last one off to the left, but otherwise I think our Mad Bomber is done for. So on we go, folks. After the break-in period, which we have clearly passed, the MAC 1014 is supposed to run more reliably with lighter loads. And what I have here is some 12 gauge, 2 3/4 inch, 7.5 inch shot, or number 7.5 shot rather, not 7.5 inch shot. And I want to see if this is going to run in MAC 1014. So let's find out. Okay, folks, Winchester number 7.5 inch dove and quail loads, will they run? No. Yeah, 2 of them ran that time. And 2 of them ran that time. And I'm not really surprised by that. That's the ammunition I said way back at the beginning of the video, that I had some ammunition that if this shotgun runs it, I'll be surprised, and that's just a little bit too light. But with all of the defensive ammunition that I ran through here, and again, some of those that I wasn't real sure about, that low brass number 4 shot that I was running before, it has just run like a champion, and I couldn't be happier. Wow, beautiful day, folks. As I record this, this is November 15th of 2023. Thanksgiving is a week from tomorrow, hard to believe. And I can tell you from long experience, we are not going to have too many more days like this in Northern Ohio in this 2023 calendar year. So I was glad to come out today, and I am extremely glad with the way this shotgun performed. My final thoughts on at least this part of my evaluation of the MAC 1014 shotgun is, to begin with, I am extremely impressed. When I got that malfunction on the second or third shot with the Remington buckshot, I thought, uh-oh. I have seen some less than flattering commentary on the Turkish-made Benelli M4 clones, and when that happened, I thought that I was going to be in for a long day. As it turned out, that was a defective round of ammunition. That can't be blamed on the shotgun. It ran the other 59 rounds of that Remington ammunition flawlessly. And as I said earlier, when I stuffed the defective round into the chamber, it functioned flawlessly. It ran a variety of other types of double-aught buckshot. It ran slugs. It ran number 4 loads. It ran the lower power Federal number 4 loads that I wasn't sure it was going to run, and it ran them perfectly. In fact, the only malfunctions that occurred are attributable only to the ammunition. There are no malfunctions that occurred out here today attributable to this shotgun. You feed it ammunition that's appropriate for it, and it is going to run, or at least this one does. Now, as I said, this is going to be a long-term evaluation of this shotgun. It's on long-term loan to me from SDS, so I'm going to have an opportunity to try this in different types of conditions and to try some different things for it. But for just bringing it out here and shooting it under what I would call ideal conditions, it was perfect. I could not ask any more. Now, is this going to last as long and be as durable as an actual Benelli shotgun? I don't know. Is it as good as a Benelli shotgun? I don't know. What I can say is it's good enough for me, especially when we consider the MSRP of this shotgun, which is in the mid $500 range. In any case, that's going to do it for this video. If you have any questions or comments, as always, make sure you forward those to me. Remember, if you purchase anything from Optics Planet, be sure to use my discount code, which is... And if you use that discount code, it's good for 7% off your purchase from Optics Planet. Also, remember the discount code from House of Pain, either House of Pain Armament or Munitions. If you go to House of Pain, you can use my discount code there, which is good for 10% off your purchase from House of Pain. And finally, there is the target sponsor for the channel, and you saw several more of their targets out here today. Although, as always, when you're working with targets with a shotgun, they don't last long. But still, go to Targets online, check out their inventory, and see if they have anything that's going to meet your target needs. Chewy, you have anything to add? He just said, until next time, everyone, good shooting. Bye-bye.